Step 3. Advanced Elements Reservation Techniques. In this step, we delve deeper into more advanced reservation techniques, including using Find and Select criteria, as well as the project regions options, such as story ranges, in conjunction with element reservations. We will also talk about how the online and offline status of teammates affects the ability to make reservations. Meanwhile, we will continue developing the construction documentation of the project, working with doors, windows, and zones. Let's start to find out more about the online and offline status of team members. The online and offline status is displayed both on the status bar and at the top of the Teamwork palette. It is also displayed in the Users panel of the Teamwork palette. The online and offline status of each user is shown with its icon in front of the name of each user. When the user is online, the icon is displayed normally. When the user is offline, the icon is grayed. When a team member is online, it means that this user is connected to the BIM server, and you can make reservations. Let's see how this works. Right-click the online message in the status bar and check the Work Offline toggle. Now the ArchiCAD Teamwork project that's currently open will switch to a so-called offline state. This means that there will be no connection to the BIM server. Notice that the online and offline status of the current user has changed. Please notice also that all buttons have become grayed in the Teamwork palette as well. Select any non-reserved element, now indicated in light gray, and right-click it to bring up the context menu. You will notice that reservation commands do not even appear in the context menu when you are in offline mode. Users in offline mode can't make any reservations in the Teamwork project. Such a scenario might happen when, for instance, a team member is working on a laptop on an airplane or on a remote computer with no network or internet connection. Such a team member does not have a continuous network connection to the BIM server. Being in the offline mode, however, does not mean that you have to stop your work. You can work on your already reserved elements and can create any new elements in the project. Right-click the Work Offline message in the status bar and uncheck the Work Offline toggle. Within a couple of seconds, the ArchiCAD Teamwork project will switch to the online status. The connection with the BIM server is re-established, and all Teamwork palette buttons are enabled as well. Let's now explore some advanced reservation techniques. Press the Escape key to deselect any selected elements. Double-click to activate the 3.3.1 Find and Select 1 preset view located in the Chapter 3 folder of the Navigator view map. Activate the Show Reservation by Users option in the Colored Workspaces panel of the Teamwork palette. Click the right-pointing arrow at the right of the Reserve button and select the Reserve Elements option from the appearing list. This brings up the Reserve Elements dialog. Here you can create complex criteria to define which elements to reserve. The Project Region panel lists the available regions where elements will be reserved. Currently, the ground floor is shown on the list. This means the reservation will be performed only on the elements of this floor. The Criteria panel enables you to use complex criteria for the element selection. The criteria can be defined at the Advanced Find and Select dialog of ArchiCAD. Click the Cancel button to leave this dialog. Activate the Find and Select option from the Edit menu to open the Find and Select palette. Notice that this palette is similar to the Criteria panel of the Reserve Elements dialog we discussed earlier. There are two ways to reserve elements that meet specific criteria. You can use both the Find and Select palette or the Criteria panel of the Reserve Elements dialog. Let's see some examples of both ways. Click the Criteria Set Name List field in the Find and Select palette and select the Toilet Doors 2100 mm option from the Public Criteria Sets part of the drop-down list. These entries in the list are saved criteria sets. The criteria set is loaded to the Find and Select palette. As you can see, we will select doors, the name of which is D113, and their height is 2100 millimeters. These are the doors that were placed in the toilet areas. Click to activate the Marquee tool from the toolbox. Make sure that the single floor selection method is selected. Draw a rectangular marquee by clicking at the point of label 1.1 and then at the point of label 1.2 to define the two opposite corners of the marquee rectangle. Notice that the marquee item has been automatically added to the criteria list of the Find and Select palette. Select the Outside Entirely option for the marquee because we want to select only those doors which are outside of the marquee rectangle. Click the plus button in the Find and Select palette to select all elements in the project matching all criteria in the list. All the doors in the toilet blocks of both wings will be selected. Click the Reserve button in the Teamwork palette to reserve the selected elements. Notice that the selection hotspots of the doors change as they become reserved. Please notice that in cases of doors and windows, only their containing walls will be reserved. Close the Find and Select palette, and then click the Door Settings dialog button in the info box to open the Door Settings dialog. In the Preview and Positioning panel, select the Shaded Axonometry Preview option. You can now see how these doors look in 3D. We will replace the door panels for all the selected doors in one step. Open the Internal Door Settings panel and select the Door Panel option from the list. Click to select Style 1 from the panel list below. Notice that the 3D preview of the door is automatically updated with the new panel style. Click OK to accept these changes. All the panels of the selected doors are now updated. Click the Escape key twice. First, the doors will be deselected, and then the selection marquee will be removed. Now let's see how to use the Reserve Element dialog to reserve elements meeting specific criteria. Double-click to activate the 3.3.2 Reserve Elements 1 preset view located in the Chapter 3 folder of the Navigator view map. In the Teamwork palette, click the right-pointing arrow right of the Reserve button and select Reserve Elements from the appearing list. The Reserve Elements dialog appears. Click the Criteria Set Name list and select the Doors, No Elevator, Empty option from the Public Criteria Sets part of the drop-down list. We want to select all interior doors which are not elevator doors or empty door openings. We want to add door markers to these doors for the construction documentation sets. Elevator doors and empty doors do not need markers, and these doors should not be included in the selection set. Click the Reserve Elements button. The walls containing doors meeting the criteria will be reserved. Notice that the Colored Workspaces feature gives you feedback on the reserved elements. This is useful since reserving elements will not automatically select them.